As quiet as it's kept, there are a lot of people in this community who do a lot of phenomenal things for the community. Also, as quiet as it's kept, it seems that there's some kind of deliberate effort to just spread all the negativity as it relates to what's going on in the community, rather than, giving exposure to all of those positive activities and programs and individuals who are making a difference in the community. I'm so happy today to have someone on the show who is not only an individual who's made a difference, but he's also been involved in several activities and programs and you name it, all designed to improve the community. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Haversham, and I guess a lot of people knew when I started naming all those, positive traits that I said, he must be talking about Billy Pitts. What I am. I'm talking about my friend and entrepreneur and activist and philanthropist and businessman and you name it, Billy Pitts. And the reason I use that introduction is because we've got to do a better job. We can't be snowed by the media. We've got to do a better job of appreciating and exposing, particularly to our young people, individuals. Everybody in the community is not a thug, and everybody has not done time, and everybody, is not, on government programs. There are many of us, and I'm not criticizing those who need help. But I think by the same token, there are many of us who have made a contribution and who continue to try to improve our community, and that is in the person of, along with other people, Mr. Billy Pitts. How you doing, man?
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. How much money do I owe you?
Yeah, well, you already gave me half of it. I'm gonna invoice you for
Okay. Thank you, Alex.
Yeah, I was talking to a friend of yours. He's in the 100 with you, and his name is Bruce Riggin.
Mm-hmm.
And I told Bruce yesterday, we were having lunch downtown. I said, well, I'm interviewing Billy tomorrow. He said, well, your job won't be easy. So all you got to do is wind him up and sit back. And he'll take it from there. But, that's okay. That's a good day. So what I want to do, there are 3 or 4 things, I want to kind of forge this program in a manner that's going to be very, very informative for the community. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about you personally. We talked about how you came from a 2-room shack onto a 20-room mansion or something close to it. And then I want you to talk about business. Your business, how you didn't start at the top, but you started in a certain position and then you were able to grow your business. Now you're one of the most successful financial planners in the Southeast. Then I want you to talk about your philanthropic efforts. What you've done for the community and why that's important. And then finally, I want to talk about, what we talked about as it relates to the importance of voting. So, take it away.
Well, I've been very fortunate, very blessed to have a lot of support from my family, friends, or people I've gone to school with, people like you. One of the things when you have any level of success, and people need to understand, you can never do it by yourself. You've got to have somebody that can help you, believe in you, trust you. And so I've been fortunate to have people like that around me, worked extremely hard for a long time. As you tell a lot of kids, there's no overnight success. Right. You don't wake up tomorrow and you got this and you got this. And one of the things, Alex, I try to tell young people when I talk to them about success, you can have success in 1 or 2 ways, and hopefully both ways. One part of success is when you can have all the things that money can buy. The homes, the clothes, the lifestyle, the vacation. That's entrepreneurship, that's capitalism, that's the American way. Nothing wrong with it. But the other part of success is when you can have all the things that money can't buy.
Right.
Your faith, your dignity, your credibility, your integrity, your self-respect. Because what I found, if you keep all of those things, you can always get some more money. So that's where it works. So I've tried to apply those principles to my business, and I use a formula, and some guys have heard me talk about this, and how you be successful. I got it from my father. And very quickly he said, son, I'm glad you're going to college, get your education, but I want you to do 3 things. I said, yes, sir. I didn't say yeah. I said, yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, number 1, make sure you get the CS degree first. And I looked at him and I said, Pop, what do you mean? I heard about the BS and the VA and the Master's and PhD. I said, what? Common sense. He told me to do that first. And what I found, and I'm sure you found it too, I deal with a lot of high-powered people, successful people, and what I've discovered, the ones who have the highest degree of common sense, it's so much easier to deal with. So he was right. And number two, he said, son, you gotta work. Nothing is free, it's not supposed to be free. It's not supposed to come easy, so you got to work. Like you and I, we still are working. We still are working hard, you know, so it's not easy. And then the third thing, and maybe the most important thing, Alex, he said, just make sure you treat people right. He didn't say Bill could do nothing. He said, just make sure you treat people right. And what I've discovered over my career in business practice, whatever success I've had, if you do that, that's a success formula. It's not that complicated. So if you can do that, you can do some great things.
Right, right. So where you come from? I mean, how did you?
I was born in Macon. I've got relatives. Some of my relatives are, Wise, Pleasant Hill, Wise Avenue. Reverend Norman Butler, my uncle, that looks like me, married, his daughter was Louise Pinkston, married P.J. Pinkston. So those are my people. And my father's sisters lived up here over, where's the elementary school over there? Giles Street.
Yeah.
They lived there.
Yeah.
So that was my father's two sisters. So I've been around, born in Macon, but I went to high school, and so unlike you, when I came back here, people didn't know me from Ballard Hudson or all the other places and everything else. And not only did I not go to school, I didn't go to college in the state.
Okay.
I went to that great university in North Carolina, Johnson C. Smith University. So I had to come back here and build the story, and people know me now. All around Middle Georgia, people know me from my athletic career, basketball, baseball, running track, and so I can't go any place in Central Georgia and somebody doesn't know me.
Right.
And of course, I went back for a couple, I have fun too.
Yeah, I understand that. Nothing wrong with that. That's part of it.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, Billy. You've been, let's talk a little bit about your business.
Okay.
Let's talk about your existing business,
Okay.
where you started, with MetLife, if that was something before then. And let's talk about how you've grown into the loss and the training.
Okay.
Talk about
Well, I started with MetLife. I spent my first 22 years in the business with MetLife. Started as a sales rep, promoted to a sales manager, promoted to a branch manager. And let me say this, back in that time, I was the only person in management with MetLife in the state of Georgia. I was Atlanta. I was the only one. And so,
Yeah.
Only one. And so I decided that I had 4 goals to be the most successful branch in the city. At that time we had 2. I decided to be the top branch office in the state of Georgia. And I wanted to be in the top 15 in the entire Southeastern Territory, which if it was a company unto itself, would be the 15th largest company in the country, and to be in the top 100 of the country.
Right.
With a lot of help and support, we reached all those goals and achieved that goal where we were the top office in the state of Georgia, not one time, but consecutively. So we did that, so I'm very, very proud of that. So started out calling on friends, family, relatives, and helping those people. Some of them are still clients of mine today. My former high school coach was one of my first clients. He just passed away, Reverend Dr. David Moore. One of my mentors who helped mold me from athletics. So he's one of my longtime clients. So I did that and went into the management and so forth and so on. And then I decided to leave Metropolitan and start my own firm, the Mutual Financial Group. I had an idea that I wanted something a little bit more professional, a little bit more centered on financial planning and investments. So back early on, I became a financial advisor, a registered financial advisor. And when I say registered, that means you have the qualifications, the education, the training, the compliance. See, somebody, you can have a family friend be an advisor, but they may not be one that's legally prepared to give advice. So I'm a registered financial advisor as well as an insurance broker. So I represent all the major companies out there, clients. I don't just represent one company. My primary company is the Principal Financial Group, but I represent Prudential and Aetna, Humana, Blue Cross, Guardian, Hartford, all the major carriers are clients of mine. So I'm able to go into the marketplace and search out the best rates for my clients. Some of my clients, the Medical Center of Central Georgia, I do the long-term care for medical center employees. The Chamber of Commerce, the Better Business Bureau, the Water Authority, Convention and Visitors Bureau, Community Foundation, Macon Bibb County EOC, all the clients of mine.
Good.
And have been for years.
Good, good. That's very outstanding. What we're gonna do, we're gonna talk a little bit more about this new venture that you're fixing to embark on, but we're gonna take a break right quick. This is a call to action.
A call to
I'm
action.
your host, Alex Habersham. I'm interviewing a friend of mine, Billy Pitts, of the Mutual Financial Group, and a lot of other things. We'll be right back. We're back, and I'm really motivated and inspired and encouraged and happy that we are able to impart some information to the community from an individual who has played a major role. And then now let me tell you something. When one of us does something negative, then you have a picture so big, in the media until it would be absolutely ridiculous. Well, I contend that when one does things like Brother Pitts here have done in this community, we're going to talk about some of the other things that he is doing and has done, then they deserve recognition. We have to, let me tell you something. We have to get away from the negativity, and then we have to make better use of the entities that provide information to the community, like Facebook. We need to have, it's okay to show the funny videos and say, I'm in Chicago on 59th Street, but by the same token, I think we could use that instrument and that vehicle to encourage our community politically, socially, economically, financially, and every other kind of way you can think of. It takes a village. And the reason I'm using Billy today is because I would hope that this is the beginning of, recognizing individuals in our community, who have made a difference. And he has. So I want you to talk a little bit, and we're going to get to some other things about your community input and the things that you've done in the community.
Well, Alex,
you don't get a check for.
Yeah, exactly. Matter of fact, I just came from another function at the Community Foundation where I'm one of those voices. There's not many of us on that voice. We're managing now over $100 million. So I have the grants committee, so I play a role in giving grants to centers like this other thing. And I have to make a compelling case a lot of times why we get it. So sometimes other people don't understand. So some of us who do understand and have to speak up. So we do that. Well, I started the United Negro College Fund here back in 1983 with the help of Betty Hutchins, raising money for the UNCF. Started the fashion fair, Ebony Fashion Show. We did it for 20 some odd years. I'm one of the founders, the 3 founders of the 100 Black Men. We did it 18 years ago, sending kids to college. We adopted the 5th grade class English Pie and paid for their entire college education, room and board, tuition, and books, for these kids. Huge undertaking. But I was one of the founders and past president of that. Matter of fact, you're talking about Bruce. I recruited Bruce to the 100 Black Men.
Yeah, I know.
And so all of those things that I've tried to do, and you mentioned that, and one of the reasons I did that, in my church, New Macedonia Baptist Church in Irvington, Georgia, one of my former teachers, a 4th grade teacher, Mrs. Grooms, after church one Sunday, she came up to me and asked me to do a program or speak or something. I said, Ms. Grooms, I'm so busy, I'm tired of this. She listened to me, she just said a thing. She came up and put her hands on my shoulder, and she looked and she said, Billy, to whom much is given, much is required.
Okay, now.
And that changed me in terms of my community and giving back and helping somebody. So I kind of dedicated the other part of my life. I wanted to certainly be successful, but I've always had the attitude that if I'm successful, let me reach down and bring somebody. It doesn't take anything away from me. If I can help somebody else be successful, that's a good thing. So I've always been focused on, if I help the least of us, I can help the most of us.
May I say something, please?
Yes.
I think that's part of what happened to our community. Dr. King didn't leave his children for Billy Pitts to do better by himself.
That's right.
And Alex Habersham to do better by himself, and then move the river north or wherever, and then turn our back on the community. It was Dr. King's intention for us to do better, reach back and bring some more up and bring some more up. So I think that the community needs to realize, I don't care how well you're doing. You know, my dad, you know, you talk about your dad, my dad was smarter than I am. He just didn't have the opportunity. But he played a role in doing some things with Mr. Radley and Booker Chambers, you know, and Albert Billingsley and other folks, so we could have more opportunity. And some of us benefited from
That's
it.
right.
But it's our responsibility to understand that we need to give back to the community. I think that would help to solve a lot of the problems, because those of us who have resources, you know, if we keep them to ourselves, then the community will never improve.
Well, see, Alex, at my office is right there in Pleasant Hill.
Right.
I could have moved some people, well, move out to North, make a move. I said, no, I want to stay right here. And so other people can see visibly,
Right.
you know, this is what we're doing. The project we're going to talk about later, it's next to me.
Right.
So if I can turn that into what I want to turn it into, it's right here. And if it's controlled by us and owned by us, and the progress I want to make, it's right there.
Right.
So see, again, people got to understand, you know, that biblical term, the more you give, the more you can receive.
Right.
It really is true.
Right.
You know, and you can be blessed, and you don't lose anything. Hopefully, you gain more. You know, so that's all the part about it. So in my philanthropic, I've given a lot of money. I've supported a lot of causes. I've done a lot of things involved. As you well know, a lot of people don't know, especially me. I was the past chairman of the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes.
I was only the second one in the history of a 150-year-old organization.
I understand.
And the first one, you know, sometimes when you look at you and me, you kind of know who we are. But sometimes some of you may not know.
Right.
Well, I was one of those real identifiable ones.
Yeah.
You know.
Ain't no question that you're of African descent. I feel it.
And I was fortunate when I was at the chamber, the Bass Pro Shop, Nietzsche Hall, Sarah Lee, all of these people. I didn't benefit directly, but job opportunities for other people. I was chairman of the MEDC. All these things that help all people, just not black people, all people.
Right.
But to me, again, if you uplift this community, we all can be uplifted.
Right.
And that's always been my goal.
Right. Right. A rising tide raises the whole ship.
That's exactly right.
Okay, let's talk about a couple other things. Let's talk about, we're going to talk about one day, we'll take a break, but let's talk about the tub.
Mm-hmm.
You know, talk about how long it took and, you know, where it's going and how you were able to accomplish. A lot of people don't know the position you held. A whole at the tub. So talk about
And I
the tub.
appreciate that. This is my second go around as a chairman. I was not scheduled to be the chairman again, but one of our other members kind of dropped out, and I was approached to kind of bring it in terms of make sure we complete the Tubman, get the financial house in order. And I'm glad you asked. I've just finished my first year, our fiscal year ended last month. And Alex, I want to report to the community that the Tubman has some debt. We had a line of credit, but all of our debt is paid. The line of credit is paid. We finished in the black this year. After opening the new museum, transition from the old museum, we got a cash balance in our account.
Wow.
So in 1 year, from over here having to pay off this and not have, and you know in running a business, you robbing Peter to pay Paul,
Right.
but we've kind of changed that around. We have the highest revenue from all that jazz we've ever had. We've had the highest revenue from the Pan-African Festival, had the SOS band in town, made a beautiful event. Seeing our people out there in the evening, it was a beautiful
Yes,
place.
it was.
So everything that we've had this year was been the highest result. We even had one of my friends support the All That Jazz, the Charlie Jones Foundation that I went to, and they underwrote the entire
I understand.
as a presenting sponsor.
Charlie was a good friend of mine.
And we got a section of the museum named after Mr. Jones.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So with the Tubman, and we bring it in, and we've got more weddings and reception booked than we ever had. Lene Batista, the girl, had her wedding reception. They've got beautiful pictures on the website, just beautiful. So when people come into the Tubman, they just say, "Wow!" The building itself is a wow. We having the Chamber of Commerce having one of their board meetings next week. The State Chamber of Commerce in August is coming to Macon, Georgia, to recognize the State Chamber of Commerce, and guess where the meeting's gonna be held? At the Tubman.
Right. Well, that's phenomenal, and we're gonna talk some more about your new venture
Okay.
that's coming up, and we'll be right back. This is a call to action.
A call to action.
Alex Havisham here interviewing my friend and compatriot Billy Pitts, financier, philanthropist, community activist, and many other things. So happy to be able to interview this young man who has played a significant, measurable role in the improvement of our community economically, socially, educationally, civically, and in a whole lot of other areas. I just congratulated him on his role with the Tubman Museum. We got a phenomenal facility down there. If you haven't been there, you need to go there. It's for the community. And you know, art and culture are very important to our community, and I think you will see that once you visit the Tubman. Additionally, it's very, very important that there are individuals like Brother Pitts who have been successful in our community, so they can serve as role models for our young people, so they can see that they too can be successful. So we're gonna end. We just got a couple of minutes to talk about two things. Talk about your new venture, but then and when you finish with that, just move right into this activity here.
Okay. Well, I'm really excited about the new venture. Again, it's based on a need I felt in the community. Where my office is located on George Avenue, right across from the new Mercer Lofts, down from the main post office. The old Puzzle Lighting Building that's been there for years and years, lights, fixtures, electrical, plumbing, and all that kind of stuff. They went out of business, and the building was sitting there vacant for about 3 years. I didn't have any intentions of getting into real estate development and everything else, but when the real estate person asked me to come in and just make an offer, and I made an offer, and they made a kind of offer, so I purchased that building. And I didn't realize it was completely finished upstairs. I've been there all these years, but I didn't know it. I guess I wouldn't have known. So I found out the building had a complete finished upstairs there. It's over 18,000 square feet. So I got the idea when one of my friends from Columbia, South Carolina, his daughter came down to go to Mercer School of Medicine. And they had a female young lady, of course, a minority, didn't have a place to stay, had a difficult time, had to stay out on 475 someplace. Made it difficult getting back to school. And so I started thinking about that, and I met some of her other classmates, a lot of them from Atlanta and other places. I said, well, this may be turned into a good situation where I can develop the upstairs lofts and have loft apartments for the Mercer graduate students, not undergraduate. Mercer Law School is right up the street, walking just. You don't even have to. You don't need a bicycle. Just walk up the street. So the Mercer Law students, medical students, engineering students, for graduate students that are a little bit older, more settled, more focused on getting education. So we're going to have loft apartments upstairs. It's going to be called the Lantern Loft. Keep it in touch with the old historical nature of the building. And I'm just as excited about downstairs, being involved in business in the chamber, and knowing a lot of small entrepreneurs, blacks, women, trying to get in business, have a good idea, don't have much money. So we're going to create an executive office space downstairs, 12 executive office suites furnished. Executive desk, chair, they can come in, be in business, have a receptionist on the phone to answer all their calls, like this desk secretary, refer calls to them, an executive lounge. They can relax after work, have lunch back there. All of that is completely furnished. And by the way, the loft apartments are going to be furnished as well. So if a kid is coming to school, limited budget, come in, already bed there, a stove, refrigerator. Upstairs, we're going to have a big lounge, rec area, pool table, TV where they can do projects or whatever else, all in one place. And so it's going to be like a new place, lighted, safe, so forth and so on. And the business part, I'm really excited about giving 12 potential entrepreneurs an opportunity to get started and be successful.
Okay. Talk about the voting process.
The voter project, I started this because I noticed last year in the campaign for governor and senator, we didn't turn out to vote. Had we turned out to vote, we would have a different senator and a different governor. Not depending on what your preference is, but we would have. So I thought about that, and one of the things I wanted to do is to make sure people understand why voting matters. This is a project not designed to support a Democrat or Republican or a candidate, but to support democracy. You see the Statue of Liberty on there? But why voting matters? Job opportunities, education opportunities, legal rights, voting rights. And on the back it says, Voter participation. You got to register. You got to vote. Have your friends, your family vote. And vote local, state, and national. Just don't cherry pick. We got to vote in all elections. So I think for us to change our outcome, we have to go to the polls and we have to vote for the people that we think are going to best represent our interests. So we need to do that.
Is there a way, I mean, are you to the extent now where a person can find more information about the project? Is there a phone number?
Call me. We've already had meetings already. We're partnered with the 100 Black Men.
Call you?
Yeah, call me.
Okay.
We're partnered with 100 Black Men, the League of Women Voters. Got some exciting young men from Fort Valley State University, technology, they've already put together that. We got some churches and ministers, Reverend Mack, Reverend Stanley, Reverend Bumpers. We've got some older people, the Connie Cater, your friend, the Cotton Avenue Mafia. We got some young folks, we got women, we got a cross section of people. So it's not just me leading it, it's a group of people that believe in this.
Tell us the number to call.
746-2655. Ask for Billy Pitts.
That's for Billy Pitts. And see, you see, one, you know, and I think that's a good indication of, in spite of his success, in spite of his notoriety, and in spite of all that he's done, and in spite of the fact that he moved from a 2-room shack to a 20-room mansion, that he still has that humility and is involved in the community. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
This is a call to action.
A call to action.
I'm your host, Alex Haversham. Have a great day.